DocuSign posting better than expected quarterly results. The provider of electronic signature technology also raised its full-year guidance for total revenue, subscription revenue, and billings. Joining us now with more on the business is Dan Springer, DocuSign CEO. We've been saying throughout the show the stock was weaker, but it's not. So my whole premise that a lot of the stocks like Zoom and others that have been big beneficiaries of the pandemic, some of them, after they report good earnings, they've gone down a little based on just slowing growth. That's not the case here, and you're up 2%. What did you say about the future, Dan?
Well, I think there's a couple things. I think the first thing is we put up fantastic growth, numbers again. So people were pleased to see that. And then I think we gave a strong guide for the second half, which is indicative of how we think that despite the fact that we will be off of the sort of pandemic highs, there's a real tailwind, for our business, is that we see strong growth ahead. And at this scale, a couple billion in revenue, just over that for the guidance for the year, I think people were pleased to see that.
I've used it for a lot of things. So I got a couple of questions just to figure out how much, where you are in the terms of finally getting to 100% of everything. Because that's what I think that Becky and I were talking about. That's where I hope you get, to where I never have to do anything again that's beyond something on my mobile phone. So right. Where's the growth? What else are you not doing now that you're working on that you're going to be able to do soon? And how much of the legacy stuff I'm talking about, like, mortgages, or I did something for a piece of property the other day that they had to, allow someone to list it. So that was DocuSign. How much of that is penetrated by DocuSign?
Well, let me talk about it in two different ways. One is thinking about from a timing standpoint, your question of when do we get there? When do we get to the elusive 100% penetration? And then two, talk about the functionality I think is relevant to your question. From a timing standpoint, I like to look at the total addressable market, right? And we see between signature and the broader DocuSign Agreement Cloud, as we've talked a lot about with you in the past, where people don't just sign documents, but they generate and then manage that set of documents afterwards. We're going to do just over $2 billion of revenue. So we're talking about in the range of 5% penetration. So it's going to take us a long time. And even though we passed 1 million customers, which is a nice milestone to pass this quarter, if you look at all the number of businesses that are out there in the US and internationally, again, it's just a small fraction. So even though a lot of people in financial services say to themselves, hey, doesn't everyone use DocuSign? We still have a long way to go with both customers and total TAM penetration. And then just in terms of the functionality, I think core signature on its own has years and years and years of high growth ahead. But the rest of that agreement cloud, we talked about the idea to generate agreements within DocuSign, to be able to manage, have sort of a repository of all of your agreements, and then be able to do advanced analytics and search against all of the agreements you've created with customers, suppliers, partners, et cetera. We think those are the kind of most exciting areas going forward.